Does OHIP and the Ontario government cover the cost of a breast prosthesis? That's a great question. Hi, I'm Sherry from Twin Sisters Mastectomy Boutique. And if you haven't done so already, please like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. We want to get the word out. So you've had a mastectomy or a lumpectomy, and you're wondering if the Ontario government covers any portion of the breast prosthesis. Well, in Canada, each province has its own healthcare system, let's say. And in Ontario, we have something called the Ontario Health Insurance Program, OHIP for short. And underneath the umbrella of the OHIP program is the Assistive Devices Program, or ADP. And they provide grants towards certain medical devices. So that's already confusing. So what does that mean for you? It means that if you are going through a mastectomy or a lumpectomy and you are purchasing a breast prosthesis, there may be a grant for you. Now, I say maybe because the Assistive Devices Program will only provide a grant for ADP approved breast prosthesis, whether it's a full prosthesis or partial. It must be made out of surgical grade silicone. It must be appropriately weighted. It must be made out of biocompatible material. There's a lot of research and development that goes into these. They will not fund rubber prosthesis or something stuffed with beans or plastic or what have you. It has to be a proper breast prosthesis. And there's about 4 or 5 companies that make these and distribute worldwide. It shouldn't be hard to find these. And you just want to ask your provider, are these covered by the Assistive Devices Program or ADP? So if you are getting a proper surgical grade silicone breast prosthesis and you hold an OHIP card, you are automatically eligible for the ADP grant. It doesn't matter if you make $3 million a year or if you make $3 a year, you are eligible for the grant, which is a pretty awesome program. But how much do they cover and how often? So the Assistive Devices Program, has been around for a really long time. And about 20 years ago, they said, hey, we cover about 75% of the cost of the prosthesis. Well, as the cost of the prosthesis has gone up and the grant has not, now it covers about 50%. So breast prosthesis, surgical grade breast prosthesis, full prosthesis is somewhere between $400 and $500, and the government at this time pays $195 back to you, and they do it actually within 6 to 8 weeks. It's pretty fast. They send a check right to your home. If it's a partial prosthesis, they are between $200 and $300, and the government will give you back $105. Again, in a check, it goes right to your home. So you would pay up front and then be reimbursed by the government within 6 to 8 weeks. And how often do they do that? Well, they do that every 24 months. And they're very specific. So it's not, every 2 years. If you get it in February 1 year, you can't get it in January 2 years later. It has to be like literally to the date. Like if you get it February 3rd, you cannot get it, February 2nd, 24 months from now. Like you have to get it February 3rd, 24 months. So it's on a 2-year cycle, and it is specific to the date. You can get it the same day or after. Very, very specific. And that is so that, if your body size changes, if you, wear out your prosthesis, because they're warranted for 2 years, and they can start to break down after a while, you can get a new one. But what happens if you gain or lose weight and your prosthesis is no longer the appropriate size, or you have a change in medical condition, so that maybe you've had a second surgery, or you had a lumpectomy and now you've gone back and had a full mastectomy, or whatever the case may be? What happens then? Well, the government of Ontario will step in and actually give you a grant again within that 2 years if you meet those certain medical conditions, which is pretty awesome. Private insurance will often pick up the rest, and you have to talk to your private insurance to see exactly how often they do that. But on top of giving you the grant, you can also put the remainder cost on your income tax as a medical expense, which is pretty awesome again. So the government of Canada does partially fund these, and both through the assistive devices program, and the federal government says that you can put them on your income tax as a medical expense. There is no tax on these because they are now medical devices. Now the weird thing is the government doesn't, or I should say the assistive devices program doesn't cover any mastectomy bras, and you can't really wear this without a mastectomy bra, but they will let you put the mastectomy bra on your income tax as a medical expense. It's very confusing. Anyway, so yes, if you live in Ontario and you have had a mastectomy or a lumpectomy, and in some cases, other reasons like a birth defect where your breast perhaps didn't grow properly or develop properly, or you've been in an accident. For instance, I had a lady who cracked her ribs when she was younger, and so one side of her body was more concave than the other. For all of these reasons, you can be eligible for a breast prosthesis. And the Ontario government does step in and provide a grant for your breast prosthesis. So I'm sure this was a very confusing video, but we've got good coverage here. So I hope that helps. If you have any comments or questions, please link them down below. See you soon.